Welcome back to Behind Spawn Doors, where today we have our last group breakdown. I am the Peach today, and today I'm looking at Group D, a group with some underachievers and some overachievers, all of whom will be making a play towards the top spot in this group. A reminder that we have a Power Rankings podcast coming up tomorrow night, as well as a summary of it coming out tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled for those coming soon. TSG Team Mist. What a year it has been for TSG Team Mist, rising from the relative obscurity as a team of school friends to sitting as one of the top teams in the country in qualification seedings. Despite dropping to Challenge Division after calibration, TSG were able to comfortably play their way through the lower league before taking Elite Division by storm in Stage 2, taking wins off of Odyssey, XVG 2CP, and Vanguard, as well as reverse sweeping Evo and only dropping 3-2 to OG Kintsugi. This form and their firm core means that the time before finals has been open for them to strengthen their reserves, picking up Zavanya from Cubs and commit their resources into preparation for the tournament. Key to this preparation is Newt, the former ATK substitute and Overwatch World Cup 2019 coach, joined Team Mist in the early stages of 2020 as their core main tank, and has been key to their rise through the ranks of local Overwatch. Such is his influence that he was hailed by his teammate Nyan after their recent 3-0 victory versus RQ Odyssey. In a team full of talent, Newt is one adding structure to their playstyle and picking out the weaknesses that can be exploited in his opponent's defenses. This structure and identification is typical of the way TSG Team Mist play, fluidly swapping from composition to break down the playstyle of an opponent. Their proficiency across the board has been the tool which many teams have struggled to break down, and coming into finals, TSG will look to leverage that further to top their group. Going forward, they will be hoping to retain their spot as one of the country's top teams, and fight their way into that top 4 spot. Full of confidence and filled with talent, TSG Team Mist are surely a frightening prospect for most. XVG 2CP. 2CP have had a tumultuous year. Despite starting the year with one of the strongest squads in the league, last-minute changes, retirements and the departure of one of their top players to their biggest rivals have left them looking far weaker than they would have hoped for at this stage. Their performances have reflected similarly. Despite starting the year as frontrunners for the second place spot and challengers for first, they haven't been able to keep up the tempo of ATK or even the chasing pack, falling to a lowly 5th place, which could have been worse had they not managed to reverse sweep Rage Quit Odyssey. Coming into finals, they have recruited Stalker from Vanguard, Wallace from Evo, and Squishy from ATK, as well as Goliath Gaming's Lagbeast as a coach. Though they maintain these are primarily as squad fillers, how these pickups will affect their core will have to be seen. Vital to this team's success is the sole remaining member of last year's core, Tox in Socks, arguably the best South African main support. Tox has been a regular starter for 2CP, and his performances on Brigitte and Mercy have been consistently notable in how they enable his team. Past that, his communications role within the team is invaluable, and he will be core to giving this team a structure if they are to triumph at finals. While XVG 2CP have a wealth of talent, there is a distinct lack of consistent identity across the team. Where we can say some teams play aggressively and some teams play more opportunistically, 2CP are yet to define that identity, an issue likely exacerbated by constant roster switches. Heading into the last leg of the year, if the team is to define and follow a consistent yardstick, it needs to be now in order to try and reach the lofty ambitions of the initial 2020 2CP. A start to this will be challenging TSG Team Mist in securing the top group seed. From there, 2CP will need to contend with the likes of Kintsugi, Beastie Boys, and ATK to press to the business end of the tournament. ADG Risen. ADG Risen are one of the most impressive new teams to come out this year, having only registered for Stage 2 of Overwatch by ATK. A relatively young and inexperienced team played superbly to stake their claim on the 4th place seeding in the Challenge Division. Along the way, they managed to shock Overclocked Esports as well as take 2 maps off of Leyden Esports before being reverse swept, while only dropping to Cubs and Calypso besides. Now represented by Dogs Gaming, the team is advancing rapidly and will be looking at pushing their own boundaries at finals by challenging the teams above them. As a team, they have a lot of scope for improvement, which is only just starting to be realized. Former Cubs hitscan Sargeras, who started the team alongside fellow former Cubs flex DPS Lima Ross, is a standout player when looking at their stronger performances. A prolific Widowmaker, Ashe, and Tracer player especially, he is consistently looking for the gaps enemies leave and attempting to exploit them. As a young team, it's easy for the team to get a little over-aggressive and try to push beyond reasonable limits, but Sargeras is a constant source of pressure on enemy teams who take advantage of his aggressive tank line to pressure out enemy resources. As quite a new team, taking in a lot of information and adapting it to their playstyle, Risen have come a long way very quickly. Understanding their win conditions and compositional theory has been valuable thus far, and these players still have much scope for improvement. The team will also take heart from noting Team Mist's rise to prominence this year, a team of an age group similar to them whose meteoric rise Risen will hope to emulate in the coming year, starting with 80k by Overwatch Finals. To do that though, they will have to challenge the likes of 2CP and Team Mist themselves in the group, as well as Overwatch Cubs, one of only 3 teams to beat them in the previous stage. The Overwatch Cubs. The Overwatch Cubs have had a similar rise to Kitsune in the second stage of Overwatch by 80k. Previously a team that was sitting at the bottom of the log, practically winless, Cubs have since gone on to a narrowly missed the playoff spot through gut-wrenching losses to COWSA and Overclocked Esports. However, their playstyle may now change with their main tank Zivanya departing for Team Mist in the ensuing transfer window, and this may affect their chances in the Overwatch by 80k finals. Seeking to minimize this impact will be the high-impact flex DPS player Minitech. Brought into the team after the departure of Sargeras and Limeros, Minitech is a prolific projectile player, finding particular value in the last leg on his signature Hanzo, as well as Echo, Pharah, and Ashe. Heading into finals, the team will likely place a lot of faith and resources into him to be able to continue his excellent performances to burst out of the group stages into knockouts. The tournament itself may be out of range for the Overwatch Cubs, but certainly a couple of wins are possible for a side on the rise in the Challenger Division standings. Finding their feet with a new main tank right before finals may be tough, but securing that role and stabilizing the team could allow them to play at a good, consistent level in the new season as well. Thank you for joining us for our final group breakdown. We hope you have enjoyed the series and an insight into the teams taking part in the Overwatch by 80k tournament this weekend. Look out for our Power Rankings podcast tomorrow, as well as the summary out on Saturday morning at ZA Overwatch on Twitter and Twitch, and Competitive Overwatch South Africa on YouTube. Make sure you also follow at 80k Arena on Twitter and at 80k_zone on Twitch, and similarly 80k zone without the underscore on YouTube. I have been Peach, and we'll see you all tomorrow live.